This video is so important for me to make because it's never been more relevant than in 2025. Color grading is known by everybody now. So when I started color grading back in 2012 or whatever have you, 2010, nobody knew what the hell it was. Nobody knew what the hell it was in 2020, okay? So now it is one of those things that people understand the value of it. And this is the easiest way to separate yourself from the rest, because with the surge of TikTok and Reels, everybody's making videos. So what separates you? What makes you get the big bucks compared to everybody else? Color grading is in demand right now. And the three main reasons why I would say you need to pay attention to this and you should actually pursue this path is if you want something that's in high demand, so you don't have to compete against editors and videographers, because anybody can pick up a camera and just go out there and start shooting and start practicing. Color grading is still considered very niche, which means that you are a specialist. And if you're a specialist, you get paid like one. And two, since post-COVID, it is normalized to work from home, which means you don't have to be tethered to a certain area code. You don't have to leave your life behind and move to LA or New York or something like that to get work. You could be living anywhere in the world. As long as you have half-decent internet connection, you can make the same amount of money that people are making that are living in these big cities. And then finally, it is one of the highest paying jobs in post-production. So keeping those points in mind, I'm breaking this video down into 5 main steps. And then within those steps, we're gonna have sub-steps to give you the exact step-by-step guide to become a colorist in 2025. This is based on this avatar right here, me, okay? This is my journey that took me from making $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 a year as a colorist all the way to $270,000 as a freelance colorist. And then when you add my other products like my Qazi's Toolkit and Freelance Colorist Masterclass, all combined, we went up to over $1 million a year in sales. So I want to basically take all of that and kind of just give you that roadmap.
For those that don't know me, my name is Qazi. I've worked with brands like ADIDAS, Amazon Prime, Universal Studios, and I make no bullshit, straightforward color grading tutorials so you can work with your dream clients.
And if you enjoy watching content like this, then do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. Let's get into it. All right, so there are 4 different social platforms that I'm gonna show you where you should be posting your content. But more important than where you should post your content, it's what type of content you should post on which platform. That, I'm telling you right now, is the biggest key I can give you, okay? Because I feel like a lot of people in the last, without naming any names, like put out content and they just said, hey, take one piece of content and just like spam it everywhere. And I'm telling you right now, I've tried that freaking medicine. It does not work. It just does not affect. It will, if anything, it will destroy your reach, destroy your brand, and all of that. So learn from my failure, my mistakes, and let me tell you which platform is good for what type of content. So YouTube, you want to put up behind the scenes kind of content. Go and check out William Baker. Look at his stuff. I mean, this dude is like literally the new kingpin on YouTube of like how behind the scenes videos should be done. He doesn't follow any like, oh, let me be consistent on YouTube so the algorithm gods are good to me. He doesn't follow anything. He doesn't even have tags on his videos. And he just puts out how I recreated Barbie or how I recreated Oppenheimer look. And then those videos just literally break the fucking YouTube and break the internet. So go ahead and just follow his lead. So what he is so smart with how he's doing it. He is not putting the final thing on YouTube, because if he just would have put the showcase, like the final work on YouTube, it would have gotten probably 25,000 views because it's too glossy. Instagram, YouTube, these platforms are not meant for glossy content. Behance, if you're into advertising and stuff like that, now that's the platform that rewards glossy. You want to get hired by huge agencies to do like their next Coke ad campaign or something like that, put your stuff on Behance. If you want to get hired by maybe Company 3 as a freelancer and do some color grading jobs, go put your final work on Vimeo and they might pick you up from there. But when it comes to putting content on YouTube, it has to be like that where we can touch and feel you. We can like really see what you're about. So when you watch my content, A lot of you are probably watching my stuff for the first time. Now, I just opened myself up to what? You can hire me to grade your next project. You can buy my masterclass and learn to grade like me, or you can buy my toolkit and start creating Hollywood looks in minutes. And this opportunity wouldn't have been presented to you, and I wouldn't have that opportunity that I have with you right now if you weren't watching this video and if I hadn't put out this video. And where is this video placed? On YouTube. So YouTube is more about where you want to show how you did something. Vimeo is the place where you want to put the aftermath, the actual showcase your product, your final product. Hey, this is how it came out. You don't necessarily need to explain anything else, because on that platform, on Vimeo, people just go to see the final thing. And then they go, yes, like I want to get this guy, I want to hire this person. And then Instagram is perfect for little nuggets. Instagram is great for half and half. You can do like a glossy post, which is like more like a, hey, here's an after. And if you swipe 3 times, I will show you the before. This is how it was, and then I turn it into that. So you can do carousel posts like those, still bang. And then you can also do before and after reels. So you can just show like, hey, this is how I started, like time-lapse reels, stuff like that. And just like show them the process, but in an accelerated way, right? Like in a snackable way, instead of like a full-blown long-form YouTube video. So Instagram would be great for that. And then LinkedIn is really good for people that just social media and being casual and a cool guy is not their thing, and they just like to be like really put their head down, and they just want to work, and they're more of like a serious type, and they don't like to engage with people on social media platforms. That's totally fine. LinkedIn is for you because you can just directly reach out to them. You can reach out to like the head honcho at Company 3 and be like, here's my body of work. This is what I can bring to the table. Don't ask them for a job right away. Just say, hey, this is a dream of mine to work with your guys' company, to be associated with you guys. How can I do that? How can I bring some value to your guys' operation to get there? I'm not looking for a handout. I just need some help. Can you guide me in the right direction? And just see what happens. And you can do that in LinkedIn, and you'll be surprised the amount of people that will get back to you. Like, I mean, anytime I reached out to the freaking head of Black Magic, and that person reached out to me like that. And on LinkedIn, I have no approach. I'm nobody. Because I don't regularly post there. So I'm not like almost like 500,000 followers like Instagram Cosman that everybody knows on LinkedIn. But that blew my mind when I saw stuff like that. I'm like, holy hell, the power of LinkedIn is crazy. So on LinkedIn, you want to share your accolades, your wins. You want to share like, hey, I posted this video on Vimeo. It was selected as staff pick, blah, 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 blah. If you guys want to check it out, here's the link. Go ahead, check it out. And then literally just say, hey, I'm available to be hired as a colorist from February to April or something like that. My calendar is open. Like, say that, because people are hunting on there always. Like inline producers, everybody is there to like, hire the next best thing. So approach each platform how it's supposed to be approached. All right, so this is a big one. Body of work. This is going to be important for people that are absolutely brand new, super green, just getting into it. Where do you start? How do you get your hands on professional footage so you can start, making some magic and people can start hiring you? The first thing that I would tell you, literally, just start with your phone, start with anything that you have around the house, and just go out there and shoot yourself, right? So just take the camera out, maybe watch some YouTube videos, how to shoot yourself if you don't have anybody to like use as a prop or as a stand-in or whatever, and start shooting. Sunsets, sunrises, car driving by, I don't know, like cat jumping around, but like just compose it well, shoot it well, bring it home, shoot it in log. Now these phones, I'm pretty sure Androids let you shoot in log too. I know for a fact that iPhone does, the new ones. Bring that home and throw it in Resolve, and then follow your boys' tutorials and start grading that stuff, like start cooking that up and see what you come up with, and then take that and then start sharing that with people. So that would be step number 1. Step number 2 would be to actually ask your friends. So let's just say if I know Jason, and Jason is a cinematographer and just shoots some killer stuff, and he's been getting some work here and there, but he's also not full blown right now, but he has his work and his footage and his equipment is 1,000 times better than mine. Then I would like to collaborate with Jason, and I would be like, Jason, dude, can you send me your stuff? And in exchange for that free footage that you're gonna send me, I'm just gonna grade your stuff for free. So this is a win-win for both of us. I get to have footage and you get to have a graded project. So you can start forming that team, that perfect team that, Tarantino built over time, or the Coen brothers built over time, or Christopher Nolan built over time, that, these guys work together and then they just blow up and they never separate. They stick together, right? So this is your opportunity to do exactly that. And then third would be to ask to grade for free from strangers. So like start hitting up people on Instagram that are pretty good cinematographers. So I'm not talking about cinematographers that are already in the industry and everything is dialed in and they have their own colorist and all of that, but just like look for people. I mean, go to platforms like Learn Filmmaking and Filmmakers or Filmmakers World. Go to those platforms and see everybody's stuff. And like anytime you find a cinematographer, start hitting up those cinematographers and just be like, hey, I am new in this industry. I have a lot of hunger and I want to prove myself. If you don't mind, can I get some footage from you so I can show you what I can do? Don't send them messages that are generic. Like tell him exactly about that specific footage that you saw and just be like, can I get access to that footage? And I want to show you what I can do. And then also ask him like, what would you like that footage to look like, or that scene to look like, or that project to look like, and let me take a stab at it and you let me know what you think. And then give your 200%, right? And then just see what they say and be patient. And I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. You might have to do it maybe 3 to 5 times, like say 3 to 5 different cinematographers, and you'll be surprised that, first of all, probably 3 of them will get back to you. And then one of them might take you up on, hey bro, I really like your work. Like, can you change this, that, and the other thing? Cool. Hey man, like how much do you charge? Like, I want to send you some stuff that I currently have, but I just don't have time to grade. What are your rates? And bingo, you're in. Like, it could be that freaking simple. It's gonna keep getting harder though. So that's why I'm saying like all these practices, you have to implement like right away, like yesterday, and then see the results for yourself. And then finally, if you're a shy type and you can't really reach out to people and that's not your forte, blah, 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 whatever it is, first of all, that's going to be a huge disadvantage to you. But let's just say if that's your problem, then royalty-free websites. So artlist.com or a bunch of other websites like that, where you can just get your hands on some really good footage, log footage. Go ahead, get that footage and then grade it and use that and just make a disclaimer in the beginning of the footage that, hey, all this footage is from royalty-free sites. Nobody cares because they're looking for your work. They're looking for what you're capable of doing, and footage is footage. So if it's Alexa footage, if it's Red footage, whatever, the best thing about these websites is that you can get your hands on all kinds of different footage. And that's very important because even if you're working with a buddy who just owns Red and shoots everything on Red, the first time you work with Sony Venice is going to be very different than working with Red. And this is somebody saying it, with their own freaking personal experience. When I worked on ads shot on Sony Venice, I was blown away with how much noise was in the shadows, like ridiculous amount of noise. And I thought like it was just absolutely pure garbage. But once you get over that fact, and once you learn that footage and work around that one small hiccup, everything else was a billion times awesome. Like it was so good. It was so easy to work with. Dynamic range for days. Skin tones look just chef's kiss. It was so good. Alexa is completely different. It has a lot of like monochromatic grain, almost like a film texture. Like that's why everybody loves Alexa, but it leans a little bit toward that green tinge in the skin that you have to pull out. Red is very natural, very close to like lifelike, and what we see with our eyes, but then a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't have the film magic that we're used to, and it's very, very plastic and clean. It doesn't have a lot of noise and stuff like that. So you have to inject a lot of like that artifact to make it look like cinematic or whatever have you. But what I'm saying is that you wouldn't know all those differences unless you get your hands dirty with all kinds of different cameras and different color sciences and like really get a command over it. So when you're just working, when you're a working professional, you don't have time to do these experiments on the clock. Like when you're on the clock, you're on the clock. Like the thing about color grading is like, we never get enough time. You'll get like maybe a day, if you're lucky, to do a music video. You'll get half a day to do a commercial. Like it's just such a quick turnaround that it's like you have to be on your game. And as soon as you get a project, you know exactly what they're looking for. You know how you're going to get it. And you just get in there, you slap your freaking that specific fixed note tree for that specific type of project, and you hit the ground running. And that can only happen when you spend time understanding how each camera works in a specific look or environment that you're trying to create. The third step is pretty important, choosing the right equipment, especially when you don't have unlimited amount of money. So I want to help you with that. And obviously I am more of a Mac guy, so I'm going to stick with that, but you can get probably like a $400 or $500 cheaper system if you're on the PC side, and the specs are going to be pretty identical. But I'm just going to show you what I'm used to. Okay, so let's just go here. I'm gonna go to Mac, or actually Store, and let's just go to Mac. And then here, I'm going to choose Mac Mini. This is the best bang for the buck when it comes to Apple, as of now. And you always want to just select the highest option here, because M4, these are gonna be good, but M4 Pro is really what you need, because now everything is on one chip. So your GPU and your RAM is unified. So that is a really big deal. So you don't want to like skimp on that, okay? And then what I would say is like, you can just leave it where you are here, like 16 core GPU instead of 20 core GPU. If you're just like really hurting for money, do that. If you're not, go with, extra core. But let's just say we stick with that. And in terms of memory, 24 gigs of unified RAM, you can get away with that. I'm telling you right now, if you're smart and if you've seen my video on how to make your Resolve work 75% faster, so I'm gonna have a link here in the description, you can check it out. That video can help you quite a bit with that. So if you use those techniques and if you're smart about it, you can get away with 24 gigs, okay? And then 512 SSD is more than enough, because my recommendation is always like, I don't keep anything on my internal drive, and I constantly clean the cache and everything like that. So I usually, 512 is just more than enough for me. In my machines, I have 8 terabyte, 4 terabyte, whatever, because I just don't care. I want to max it out, and I'm running a business, so like I can get like write-offs at the end of the year, so it's not a big deal for me. But if you're just starting out, you don't have a company, you don't have all those procedures put in place, 512 is going to be enough. Just spend the rest of the money on external drive. Gigabit is going to work. All that is going to work. All right, so the number we're looking at is $1,400 plus tax, like depending on where you live. But one thing that I'm going to tell you is have somebody, a student that you know, and you can use their ID, your cousin, your friend, sister, anyone that you know that's going to school, you can use their credentials to actually get additional 10% off. That is a huge deal. So you can get 10% off that number, which is basically going to cover your taxes and then some. So whatever this number that you're seeing, you're gonna be actually paying less than that out the door, which is a pretty insane deal. So that would be the system that I will be running in 2025. Now let's just look at a monitor that I would recommend you start with. So let's just click on, actually it's right here because I searched for it before we started, is this guy right here. Tell me this is not crazy. In 2025, I'm giving you an option for $189, and I'm telling you that this monitor is a great starter kit. Put this thing into Rec 709 as soon as you get it, because it's gonna be set to some wider gamut, and that's just not accurate. When you're gonna be grading, it's gonna be driving you crazy, because you're gonna pull up that image on your phone, it's gonna look completely different. You're gonna upload it on Instagram, it's gonna look washed out and different. So put your monitor to Rec 709, and you're going to be pretty tip-top right off the bat. For $189. Yes, it's a 1080p monitor. Yes, it's not HDR. Don't let these companies fool you when they say HDR monitor for $400. Nothing is HDR here, okay? If you want like a closest to true HDR, if you want to grade in that, then you're gonna have to go with something like that, like a LG OLED TV. that actually, when you send the data through a I/O box, Ultra Studio, whatever you're using, and it's gonna kick on HDR. That's gonna be the closest thing to true HDR. Otherwise, you have to spend 30 grand to get like a real HDR image. But don't waste your money on that. Stick with SDR. We're still working in this world, so that's totally fine. This is the monitor that I would recommend. And then finally, I'll just say, picking up bias lighting. So this guy right here. And this is actually, I'm gonna have links to all of this in the description too as well, so you guys can just like easily go there and pick it up. And I don't even know how to set up affiliate links, so these are just like, I'm throwing them in there because this is what I vouch and am using. So like, you know, I believe in these brands, so like I'm just like sending some love their way. But bias lighting is this sort of lighting behind your monitor, and don't get like those cheap Amazon lights because they shift color all day long, every day, and it's actually going to screw with your head. So you want to get this bias lighting that is a perfect color temperature that you need to reset the color temp in your eyes, okay? So usually when I'm grading, I don't have all these lights turned on. Obviously, these lights are turned on, you know, for the talking head to look good. But normally when I'm working, it's a freaking dungeon, and I only have a bias lighting, which is turned on. I don't know if you guys can see it behind this like big OLED, but there's a light there, and that's that bias lighting. So I have it behind that. I have it behind my 77-inch big screen right here. And it helps constantly reset the color temperature of your eyes to like neutral. So then every single thing that you're seeing on screen is just absolutely choice. So this is a must-have, so get that. And between these three things, you're on your way to get your first client and get paid. Number 4 step would be one of the most key steps in the entire chain, which is developing skills. And I would say even today in 2025, I support online courses over YouTube videos or free roaming, as what I call it. So free roaming is like where I can spend the next 7 months just hopping from video to video and creator to creator, and every creator has their own style and their own way, and there's nothing wrong with that because everybody works differently. And if you're new, what that's going to do is that's going to drive you crazy. You would just constantly have this battle in your head that what you learned yesterday, was that the right thing or the wrong thing? And then, is this better than the last technique? And then sometimes you will apply one creator's way and it was jiving with you and you were finding good results, but then the other guy sounded smarter, but then when you try his techniques and they're giving you worse results, but what do you do? What do you do? You're just going crazy. And that's where I always say, stick with one source. Just pick one source. As soon as you jive with that person, like you like their energy and like what they're saying and how they're delivering the information, and when you try to apply that and it works for you, that's it. Stick with that like a freaking glue, like a crazy glue, okay? And that's where the merch idea came from, learn and apply. It's just simple as that. It's just learn and apply, learn and apply. As soon as you learn something, apply it. So it just gets imprinted in your head, move on to the next thing. And there's no better way to talk about the most successful color grading course. Nobody can challenge me on that than Freelance Colorist. Our refund rate is 0.7%. That is genuinely unheard of because our average in this world when it comes to post-production or filmmaking courses is around 12.5% refund rate. Our refund rate is 0.7%, and there's a reason for it. Because if you look at our students, they literally went on and created full-blown boutiques. I mean, Brian is one of the hottest colorists in Brazil, and he was a banker when he joined Freelance Colorist, okay? Pratik was literally freaking 16 when he joined Freelance Colorist, and then last time I talked to him, he was buying a $35,000 USD monitor in India. Cameron was a sound designer before he joined Freelance Colorist, and after taking Freelance Colorist, he's working with one of the biggest studios ethos, and think of any big brand or artist, this dude has worked with them. So these are just a few examples of the results that people have gotten. And the best part about our course is the community. If you want a feedback to the recent project that you worked on that you're submitting to your client, you can go in our private community and just ask for feedback. And people there are unlike any other color grading community where nobody's pulling anybody's leg, but everybody wants to help everyone else. So this is the type of community that you want to become a part of if you really want to skyrocket your career in the world of color grading. So I am talking about it shamelessly because it has helped so many people that if I hide that information from you, this is just a pure sin. So the link to my course is in the description below. Check it out. Second place where I would recommend you gain skills is obviously the free choice, everybody's favorite and most popular platform, which is YouTube. I mean, if you found me here and if you're going through my videos and if you're learning a lot of stuff, I don't paywall anything. I don't hold anything back. I just give you everything in abundance here. That's the mindset I grew up with. My dad always said, like, there's plenty to go around. So just share anything and everything. And if people like you, they will invest with you, in you, like it doesn't matter. Just give everything freely. So all the content that you see here, I'm not holding anything back. So you're getting all that stuff for free. But even then, I would say stick with that mindset that I talked about. Find one source. If I'm not your source, then stop watching me right now. I actually want to help you. If you're listening to me and I'm like a nail on a chalkboard and you're like, dude, I can't stand this guy, then seriously, just stop this video, walk away. Like, I'm not your guy. I don't want you to waste your time. Like, go watch somebody else's content. And it's going to be beneficial for me too. I don't want you to watch my video and downvote it. And then over the course of next 6 months, my channel goes to shit. So I don't want that. This is a win-win for both of us. Like, just get out of here and go watch somebody else's content. But this is how much I believe in this, what I'm saying. Stick with one source, like somebody that makes sense to you, and then just go all in. And then finally, there's not a single project that I worked on where third-party plugins weren't used. And I'm not talking about just by me, everybody else. In a professional world, nobody has time to create everything from scratch. Everybody is working on a project, tight deadlines, under budget, all that good stuff. That just doesn't happen on smaller budget stuff. This happens on any budget. That's why when they made Lion King, what did they say? Like, Disney owed the VFX company, I don't know, $35 million, $50 million or something like that. Like, you know, the company went bankrupt. I mean, there's a whole article about it. Like, go read up on it. Like, I mean, it's freaking mind-blowing and it's very sad. But it's why? Because we're always working under budget, even at Disney's level, okay? This is as high as big as it gets. So what am I talking about? You have to use resources. You have to use tools that can get you 100% of the way there in like 10th the time. And Qazi's toolkit was literally built for that specific goal, because that is the tool that I was like, when I was using garbage tools like, and even like some of the recent tools that I've used, I'm not gonna name any names, but it's like, these tools are just created by technicians. I mean, these guys are just like theorists. They're color scientists. They don't know shit about when it comes to color grading and when it comes to like that intuitive feel, that touch, that mindset, that thought process of a painter, of a cinematographer, of a photographer. Like, they don't have that. So you need somebody that has that to develop a tool. So like, I used all of my skills, got the best developer in the game, and concocted something that literally gets you there from 0 to 100%, not 85 or 90%, 100% of the way there, genuinely at least 4 times faster. So now imagine if you can do task 4 times faster, which means now you can start taking on more clients, which means you can significantly increase your income. So all those things go hand in hand. Link to my toolkit is going to be in the description as well. And if at this point anybody is just sitting back and crying and going, this entire video is just one big ad, I feel sorry for you, because the value that I've provided in this entire video is much more than me just talking about the products that genuinely nobody can beat, or the best products in the market. So they could have been somebody else's products and I would have been pushing it. Just like when I showed you the equipment, I told you I'm not affiliated with any of those tools that I shared with you. I just said, hey, click on the links and buy those things. I don't even know how to create an affiliate program or whatever on those websites. And plus, I don't have the time to do that. And the couple of cents that I'm going to get off of like each sale, it's not worth it to me. So I don't even do that. But what I'm saying is like, I did that because I was being unbiased. I'm doing the same thing with the toolkit and with the masterclass. I mean, these are the best products out there that have given people real tangible results. So I don't want to deprive you of that. And finally, experience. Obviously, that's not something that you're gonna gain when you just wake up the next day and boom, you just got experience. How do you gain it? You gain it by practice, practice, practice. Analysis paralysis is the worst thing that has ever happened to smart people. I'm telling you, with my own experience, I don't consider myself smart, so I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about a lot of my friends that are 100 times smarter than me, and their biggest Achilles heel is that they just don't do, man. They don't do. They just sit back, analyze, 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 and just never pull the trigger. So I don't want you to be that. This is not my channel. My channel, we just always execute. So when somebody leaves me a comment and somebody says, oh, it's the same guy that did this thing differently 2 months ago. Oh, it's the same guy who talked about lift gamma gain dance 2 years ago. Oh, it's the same guy that did blah, blah, blah. I am laughing at those fuckers because I'm going, of course I am upgrading myself, man. I'm getting better every day. So you're going to execute me because I'm not using the same technique that I used 2 months ago? And I'm pissed at myself that why the fuck didn't I ditch that like 3 months ago? Like, I need to adapt faster. I need to learn faster. I need to like learn and apply things and move on to the next thing. What kind of sick mindset is that to take pride in like, oh man, I'm using the same techniques I was using back in 1976. I haven't changed a thing. Like, what the kind of mindset is that? I mean, it gets me really worked up because I just get those comments all day long and I don't understand the fucking logic. Like, where in fucking do people pull the from? Like, do they not think about it before they hit enter and leave that fucking poison out there? That you are literally telling the person that is teaching you new every day that, hey, dummy, stop showing us new every day. Show us the same old so we can keep liking it. Like, what nonsensical thing is this? Anyways, I don't want to go off tangent here. But yes, second sub-step would be to study content. I don't remember the last time I watched something and I didn't pay attention to color. I mean, I was just watching Arcane before I started shooting this episode, and every single scene, right? Like, I'm looking at her hair and I'm like, Jinx's hair, and I'm like, man, that blue is just like staying blue from shot to shot, from scene to scene, no matter which kind of environment she's in. And that's like really interesting. And it's a bunch of different things like that. And because it's all graphics, then I'm just thinking, it's interesting. Like, I want to interview somebody and ask them, like, how do they do that? Because it's like, it's not, live action. So when it's graphics, like, how do you keep the color consistency from scene to scene, from environment to environment? So I think it's very interesting. And it's like, my wife wouldn't be thinking about that stuff. My brothers wouldn't be thinking about that stuff when they're watching it, but I am. And that is the one thing that's going to give you the leg up over your competition. Like, if you start tapping into that and still find a way to not deteriorate you or take you completely away from the story. So like, since I went to film school back in 2006, so I mean, I just aged myself, but I've been basically dealing with this sort of like, I'm learning to dissect and then also enjoy for the last almost 20 years, that I've just gotten to a point where I found a really good balance to very quickly analyze the entire frame, ask those quick questions in my head, and then get back into the story. So I want you to start practicing that. Maybe in the beginning, it's going to be like very artificial, and it's going to like ruin the story and it's going to distract you, but that's okay. Maybe watch it again, watch it again, watch it again. Maybe start with one of your favorite things, Pulp Fiction, maybe Fight Club, maybe Seven, Mindhunter. Grab one thing that you really like and then just go, okay, this is something I can watch again and again and again, and start watching it for different aspects of filmmaking, especially when it comes to color grading, stuff like that. Why are they choosing this color palette? Now let me bring it in Resolve. Let me throw it in Resolve and like actually see what's happening on the scopes. And let me start like breaking it down and get a better understanding for it. You'll be surprised how any and every piece of cinema that we see, how heavily it's manipulated through color grading, and then slap it in Resolve, open it up, and start studying it and try to incorporate that. And you will be so uncomfortable when you start creating those looks, because the sky would all of a sudden be like crazy teal. And you would be like, man, this just can't be true. Like, it can't be true. It can't look like that. But then when you watch Dunkirk and you look at the sky and you go, it does look like that. That's really interesting. Because movies and shows are watched in isolation, right? And I'm talking about streaming content, not like stuff on TV, because we had ads in between. But as we go away from like traditional TV, the stuff is looking more and more stylized. Why? Because it's just done in this like silo isolation. So like if I'm watching Mad Max and it's like so freaking crazy colors and insane, it's its own thing. It's not like it's playing while we're seeing Queen's Gambit or something in between it. Because then it's like really off. Queen's Gambit is like, pastel tones, soft contrast, like it has a really nice like glowy feel to the entire thing. And then we cut to like Mad Max and it's like over sharpened everything and like teal and orange to the max. And it's like, what the hell is going on? Like that will never happen. So then these colorists and these directors, they take crazy liberties to go there. So I want you to actually get the best of the best work that you enjoy, bring it in, break it up, and try to recreate it. Recreate those looks. Like nothing will teach you more than look recreations, I'm telling you, because it will make you feel like if you're just in a -20, -100 water and you're just like stepping into it and you're just going, you just can't breathe before you even like jump into it. Like you just can't breathe. Before you haven't even put your foot in there, but you can't breathe because you know what's about to happen. And it's almost like that. When you start recreating certain looks, you're gonna be like, no, I don't know. But then once you get there, like, I mean, again, this example of like day for night, once you go from here to here, oh my God, man, like just the instant gratification of color grading, it's better than anything else. All right, so there you have it, a step-by-step guide to becoming a colorist in 2025. If you have any specific content suggestions, drop them down below. And on that note, stay healthy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.